Hi, everybody, and welcome to another week of the Celebrity Creator Show. Brian, how you doing tonight?
I am doing absolutely fantastic. How are you doing, Kathy?
I'm doing great. I'll tell you what, after coming off of a week-long event with our friend Craig Duswald, a little bit ragged around the edges and playing catch up like you are as well, but so excited about our guest tonight. But before we get started, for those of you that are new to the show, I want to share a little bit about my dear friend and business partner, Brian Kelly. Brian has been a software engineer for over 24 years. I was thinking about this the other day, Brian. I've got to find out when that 25th year comes. I think we should have a cake or a drink online or something.
That's okay. I'm getting old.
But anyway, part of that experience lends to all of the great things that you see on our site because Brian knows all of this coding mumbo jumbo and fancy dancy stuff and puts all the graphics and all the great stuff that you see on here. In addition, he sits in his home office. He's down in Southern California and I'm in Northern California and does all of the behind the scenes operation of stuff. So I'm just so grateful for that. In addition to that, Brian is also a speaker and author. We're working on a little bit of writing here and there, so that's going to be coming out. He is also a avid social media enthusiast. Brian is very adept at Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and the new exciting Google Plus. We'll see where that takes us over the next few months and years. You never know. Brian also is an affiliate marketer and has done quite well in that, has been involved in network marketing. As a matter of fact, that's how Brian and I met 4 years ago. I don't want to take any more time because we've got just a lot of stuff to talk with our guest tonight. So I'm going to turn it back over to you and hope that you won't do too much for me either.
Well,
Okay, your
thank
turn.
you so much. You did more than enough. Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, I would like to
Do a little
introduce
bit.
all of
Poquito.
you to this wonderful woman to my left, to your right as you're watching on celebritycreators.com. If you're not on that website, you're watching somewhere else, you need to get over to our website because that's where you can interact with us live and ask Dawn questions. But let's get back to Kathy.
Oh, that's
Kathy has
awesome.
an absolute wealth, and I say this every time because it's true, an absolute wealth of experience when it comes to the world of business and marketing. You're going to hear that word marketing a few times in this description. She has over 25 years experience as an operations manager and sales manager, and this all at a Fortune 500 company. Now, for me, that was enough. Okay, you want to be my partner? Come on over. That's good. That's good enough. But wait, there's more. There's more. Her corporate career ended 6 years ago as she retired by choice, and she decided to pursue her passion by enlisting her over 20 years of experience as an internet and network marketing entrepreneur to work from home. What a beautiful dream that is. And hers has been realized. She's been extremely successful in affiliate marketing and network marketing. As she mentioned, that's where we met. As a matter of fact, that's also where we met our guest. I first met her at that same exact, well, one event prior, I believe. On top of that, she is also an author. She's already penned and co-authored a book that's going to be we can't talk about it. And also has experience as a professional speaker on the stage as well as behind the camera, as you can see her right now. And most recently, she has become a highly successful social media strategist. Yeah, she called me an enthusiast because I'm enthusiastic about it. But this woman, she knows how to get her done. She has corporate clients coming out of her walls. They're just hanging out the windows right now. There's probably feet dangling on the side over there. But she's incredibly successful, turning people away at times because her bowl is full, I guess.
Your cup runneth over.
We have a fantastic guest on tonight. I would like to get going with her. Kathy, thank you once again for a wonderful introduction. I'm going to throw it back to you and let's bring her on.
Brian, you as well. Thank you so much. And we're both excited about our guest tonight, Dawn Doucette. Dawn lives in southeastern Wisconsin, where she lives with her soulmate, Chris, and her three wonderful little furry kids. But they're dogs, but they're her kids. For you dog and cat lovers, you know what that's all about. But Dawn grew up in a small town where she was raised with a strong work ethic and and to really value personal relationships. Now, Brian and I can say that we know that for a fact because she has such a heart of gold. And once she becomes your friend, I'm telling you, she is your friend for life. She creates from the heart, and those that know her know that she wears her heart on her sleeves. And I can attest to that because she was wearing it on her sleeve earlier today. Dawn has a bachelor's degree in marketing, and she has had great success in the real estate industry, and she has been very successful in online marketing and also is very, very experienced in social media marketing. Dawn is also an internationally renowned blogger and is currently the sole proprietor of the international artisan jewelry company designed by Dawn Marie. And I just want to share this a little bit here because I think this is a perfect time so that
Beautiful.
everybody, this is one of her just exquisite pieces that she's designed. I would like to welcome Dawn, our very special guest. Glad to have you tonight.
Kathy and Brian, thank you so much. I am so excited to be here and to talk with all your guests tonight.
Oh, not as excited as we are, I'll guarantee you that. Now, the title of our show, as you can see, if you're on celebritycreators.com, so go there if you're not there, because you won't see the title unless you're there, is Turning Your Passion and Purpose into a Viable Business. Now, Don, your story is quite remarkable in the fact that you've been involved with online and offline businesses over several years. In fact, you and I met that one time in Los Angeles. That was primarily an online business at the time. Now, what was the turning point for you in shifting from a business that was more about making money than it was on following your passion to, say, a business that was more built on your passion?
Well, like Kathy said a little bit ago, Brian, I put my heart into everything I do. So I got to a point that, I realized I needed to give more to people and make people feel happy and make them feel loved. And in the various different businesses and different career paths I've had, I never had that experience until I started experimenting with giving the gift of my jewelry. I've played with jewelry. I've created, since I was a little girl, I had one of those little bead weaving looms to create friendship bracelets. And I've always liked jewelry, but I've never shared that gift or never shared my jewelry with anybody else. And once I realized after, real estate and banking and some other opportunities I've done, and realized that really there's more to life than making money. It's more about following your heart and loving what you're doing. And when I started creating jewelry and sharing that with people, the response that they gave me in the form of love and emotion was just so overwhelming. I knew I had to follow my heart and take that route rather than always chasing the dollar.
Well, and that says a lot because oftentimes I think we go after a particular business because that's where the money is. And I think that we really miss the boat, particularly if we're moving from corporate America and we become entrepreneurial and we start something new. And then we kind of go back into the same mode where we're chasing the dollar and we're really not fulfilling what we're passionate about. So it's very encouraging for someone like you and to have you on the show that's saying, you know what, yeah, I've been there and done that, and I stepped out and chose to, put my creative juices, if you will, together and go after what I'm passionate about and create a business around that. So kudos to you. I think that's awesome.
Well, thank you.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask is, what do you recommend for people just starting out with their businesses, and how do they go about getting their business started?
Well, what I've found, I've talked with different people that are all at varying levels of business. Some are just starting out. Some have been in the business and they're just trying to ramp it up or create a bigger business for themselves. And then there's others that have been in business for themselves for a long time. And I learned from people that have been successful for a long time. So when someone's just starting out that I'm talking with and they're brand new, they're following their heart, but they're not sure where to turn, I think there's a few key components that they have to have. In this day and age, you have to have a web presence. And I like to recommend that people have a blog, because a blog is where people start to build a relationship with you. And let's face it, with so many options of who you can do business with in this day and age, people do business with other people that they trust. And the first way that they can get to know you is by you creating a blog and putting yourself out there. The other thing that I found really beneficial is having a Facebook page set up. There's a lot of people that are starting in business and they use their personal fan page as their business portal. And you really want to have on Facebook your own business page, because that way other people can spread word of mouth about your business as well. And people don't have to have permission to share your goods and services. Like they do, they have to add you as a friend if it's your personal page. And from there, really, people really need a way to get their product out to the consumer. So whether it's your own website you've built out with an online store or any number of third-party stores on there, you have to have a way that your consumer can purchase your product or your service. And, that's kind of a triage of, 3 different areas that all intertwine together online. But in this day and age, you have to have it. It's just critical to have a presence online that people can start to relate to you and build that relationship with you.
Yeah, and we couldn't agree more. Of course, having a lot of marketing online, including the website and everything you mentioned. But what about companies that have a mixture of an offline, online type business model? How important is it marketing yourself offline in that case? And what would you suggest as a good offline advertising or marketing method?
Well, a lot of times, you look back in the olden days and people used telephone books. Imagine that to find businesses. Unfortunately, the cost of advertising in the yellow pages in the phone book has gone up, and less people are using it. So offline marketing strategies really changed a lot over the last 10 to 15 years. What I have found personally, the biggest offline marketing you can do is word of mouth, spreading within local communities, local organizations. In my case, jewelry is a pretty diverse topic. It's a product that 90% of women wear, a lot of men wear jewelry, and even if men don't wear jewelry, chances are they probably have a woman in their life, whether it be a wife, a mother, a daughter, that do wear jewelry, and so they give it as a gift. So reaching out to some of the local organizations, for instance, I often create pieces and I donate them to like our local high school for their booster club offices. Or we have a number of organizations around here that help disabled children. One of them being Smiles. That's a therapeutic riding organization that helps kids with disabilities to overcome their disabilities through riding horses and learning horses and things of that nature. So they do auctions and things, and I like to get involved and donate pieces that I've created, especially for their organization, because it starts creating that word of mouth, and it gets you out there in front of an audience of people that may not have come looking for you, but seeing you at an event like that or through an event that you're helping out their kids, whether it's through school or through the organization, it really builds their trust in you, and they would seek you out to do business with you rather than going to somebody that they don't know, for instance. So from an offline strategy, the phone book, that's really a thing of the past. It's more about getting yourself in front of people in a relationship building manner. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely. The thing is, when we were talking about how important is it marketing yourself offline and online as well, and then the other thing we were going to talk about is how do you market your jewelry business. I can say this. One of the things that, and it can be used, actually this system can be used for even products as well, or passing out books, but what Dawn does is creates pieces of jewelry, and we have an arrangement. I purchase the jewelry from her and I wear them at events because I absolutely love what she designs, and she designs it especially for me. Each piece is absolutely crafted particularly for me. So what a great way to advertise. But again, it could be somebody's book or whatever, talk about product placement, but essentially, if we're all entrepreneurs as we are and we want to help each other out, what a great way to help each other than to, wear this beautiful jewelry, take your connections books and hand them out. But how else and where else do you advertise your jewelry? Is it like on eBay, or do you have storefronts? How else do you do that?
Well, when I started, I didn't want to have to build out an entire website initially because that's cumbersome, and you can hire it out and that's going to cost a lot of money, or you can learn it yourself, in which case you'd have gray hair at a very young age and be dyeing your hair for the rest of your life. So I initially started by I had a store on Etsy, and I'm sure a lot of the people online have heard of Etsy. Etsy's a portal similar to eBay, but it's specifically for handcrafted goods, and whether it's crocheted goods or jewelry or glass wares or metal wares, it's all handcrafted and artisan created. I've had experience on eBay. I was a power seller on eBay, but that was not selling my jewelry. I really wanted to target from an audience. I really wanted to target an audience that appreciated the value in handcrafted quality jewelry. And I found eBay wasn't the right venue. But everybody has, depending on your business, for some businesses, eBay is absolutely perfect because it's a huge audience. Everybody's well-versed in eBay in this day and age, so they've at least heard of it. And so many people have used eBay that it makes transactions seamless. So I started with my own Etsy store to generate awareness for my jewelry and for people to start to get to see my jewelry. But I also realized very quickly that I needed to give the consumer more. I needed to share more of myself with them. And just seeing a picture on Etsy, well, there's 8,433,000 people also selling necklaces. I needed to differentiate myself, and that's when I moved forward to build out my own website, and consulted with a few experts on that, but to really create something where I could incorporate video, incorporate testimonials, and still have a storefront that people could shop at. So it's kind of been an evolution, and it's still growing and changing, but at this point, it's baby steps, and you start in one avenue where you don't have to do as much on your own, but it accomplishes your goal, and as you grow, you build it bigger.
And it takes a lot of courage to actually just begin a business, let alone now to start marketing it. I mean, look what you have done on your own primarily, is, build your own website. You've said that several times. It's actually not that difficult once you dive in, but there's a lot of fear factor going on, and a lot of us have dabbled in businesses from time to time, and we've failed at them. I can raise my hand to several in the past, and I'm sure everyone on this show right now can attest to the same thing. But what makes you, Don Doucette, unafraid of failure going forward?
Oh, I don't think I would be human if I wasn't afraid. I mean, I think it's inherent in all of us that there's fear. But it's what you do with that fear that determines where your business is going to go. Because you can be afraid and hide in a corner and just, oh my gosh, I don't want to answer the telephone. Or you can use that little bit of, it might not work, but I'm going to try 10 times as hard to create something that people really value and that's something that people really want. And so it's how you use that little bit of question mark, if you will, in the back of your mind. It's what you do with it that's going to determine your outcome. So, I know, Brian, you and Kathy are both, I mean, we've all been in businesses where sometimes it's not in our control. And, we don't have control over things. So there's always something that can derail your train. But it's a matter of what you do when, you've got that little bit of concern or that question in your mind. Which path are you going to take with that? It's going to determine your success in business.
Excellent. Luke, I just want to interject here. Earlier, you followed up a question and asked us if it had made sense. And Nancy said it absolutely did make sense. And she sends her love to you. So I'm assuming you know who Nancy is. If not, there's a Nancy out there that's loving on you.
Aw, I feel so loved.
But you know, the other thing that you do, and I just want to throw this out there, part of your creativity and talking about um, what makes you unafraid of failure, you're actually putting yourself out there and reaching out beyond just having the storefronts that you're setting up. And I think that this is, you know, kind of a good marketing bit of information for some of our viewers as well. And that the fact is, you have actually approached other individuals and worked up joint venture type partnerships where you actually go into a client and kind of get a feel for what it is that they're doing, how they're operating their business. And one in particular is Susie Manning with Sizzle, and you went into her business and took a look at what she does, and you actually crafted a gorgeous artisan bracelet that's very fitting for her Sizzle women, and she has that on her site where gals that coach with her or come in can actually purchase that, and then you make them each time there's a sale. So you use that creativity and kind of stepped back and said, I'm going to be bold and put myself out there, and started working on some joint venture partnerships. So that's just kind of another idea to throw out there for our visitor, or I mean our viewers, that that you're actually stepping into and doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to ask is, what would you say is the most critical component in business today?
Well, I think, so much of what we've gotten away from that, just aching to come back into business is truly putting the customer back in customer service. Too many times you call for customer support, name your company X, Y, or Z, and you're getting someone that doesn't appreciate the fact that you are a customer of that company, and they don't value your business or value you as a person. And so, in my opinion, the number one thing that business needs is customer service. It's what builds relationships. It's what makes people feel valued. And it's what makes them not only return to you, but refer business to you. Because the lifeline of any business is going to be referrals. And word of mouth is going to be your best testimonial from somebody that's using your product or your service and loving it. And they're going to tell people about it. On the contrary, if they don't have such a good experience, they're going to tell people that too. So
Right.
I think, the more you can give of yourself and the more that you can show your consumer, your customer, how much you appreciate their business, the more that it's going to come back to your business and help your business to build and grow. And it doesn't matter what your product is. It's really about service.
And before we move
Well,
on,
okay.
talking
Go
about
ahead.
service, this is kind of related. For those of you watching live on celebritycreators.com or watching the recorded version later, you'll notice there's not just this live, beautiful, moving Dawn Doucette with us here, but there's also a very stoic, stationary, non-moving picture of her on this page as well. After the show is over, click right on her nose, and that will take you to her Facebook page where you can get connected with her on a more personal basis. In addition to that, you see that beautiful banner down there. That will take you directly to her website of her own creation that she created just for you. You want to go there and check out this fantastic line of jewelry that she has made, as you have seen some of the images floating by during the show. Gorgeous stuff. And I can attest, Kathy, to what your excitement level every time I see you in person, because we don't see each other a ton. We're seeing a lot more. But every time I see her, Dawn, she's wearing one of your pieces and just glowing and showing everybody. Everywhere she goes, she's showing, look at this beautiful thing that my friend Dawn did for me. It's just, she really, really loves your jewelry. And everybody that she shows it to, they're awed by it. So you're doing something very, very right, obviously. But now that your company, Designs by Dawn Marie, is a thriving business, let's move into a little bit more advanced topic. Like, now that you are up and running, you've got a machine, if you will, churning away. Your business is on its way. How do you actually monitor or track your online success, sales, your advertisements? How are those things being tracked to your jewelry? Is that what you would think to be an important component to help you to refine and better improve on your marketing?
Absolutely. there's a lot of different things that go into tracking your business growth. Return on investment is just one component of it. But, like we had talked about a little bit earlier, Brian, I use a lot of different avenues to grow my business. But in referring to, my blog and Twitter and Facebook and my website, Facebook and Twitter and my blog, it's really easy to watch. I mean, as your followers grow, your business is growing. You monitor your sales, whether you use an Excel spreadsheet or you use something like QuickBooks. I use both for different things. You can also track, and you want to make sure that your business, everybody goes through hills and valleys, but as you're growing, you want to make sure that it's consistent. Certain seasons, depending on your product line, are going to generate more business. I mean, the Christmas holiday in particular, for people that create products that people can give as gifts, December should be rocking. But that also usually means January is a little bit quiet, So part of it is learning your market and learning, your industry and what's common. If you look at here's the industry average, do I fit into that? Knowing that everybody's going to have some peaks and valleys. But the other aspect that's really important is monitoring traffic to my website. And I use Google Analytics for that because you can monitor not only where your traffic is coming from, meaning what websites are referring traffic to you, or if they're finding you in the search engines, how are they finding you? What are they typing in? What keywords are they using to find you? And it quantifies from a numeric standpoint exactly how many hits have you had, how many visitors are brand new, here's the exact, keywords they use to find you. So it really helps somebody that's, whether they're starting out or thriving in business, using a tool like that really helps people to get a full picture of where their business is coming from. And where it's coming from is where you want to grow it too. I mean, that's people asking, hey, I want more of what you've got. So to be able to target, more products towards that particular market, it's been really helpful for that.
Well, I want to ask this question. When you have the separate page for Designs by Dawn Marie, and then you have a Dawn Doucette Facebook page. So do you advertise your jewelry business on your personal page as well?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You have to cross-market both, because sometimes people don't realize, they're your personal friend because they're your second cousin's aunt's best friend, but they may not know that you have a business page. So every now and again, I try to keep my personal page 90% personal, but my jewelry is personal. Each piece that I make is truly special, and it's one of a kind. So when it's a work of art in that when I create something and I put it up on my personal page, it's not saying, hey, by the way, there is a Designs by Dawn Marie, because it does say that. But what it's really saying is, look what I just poured my heart into. It's similar to parents that, are so proud of their kids. This for me is my little work of art. So I do share back and forth. And especially with my blog, I have my blog feed to both my personal page and my business page, because I have people that read it for different reasons. My aunts read it because they love to see what I'm doing and where my business is going. But my customers read it to see what my newest pieces are, because they don't want to tell their favorite pink necklace that I just made. So, yeah, it's important to cross-market yourself.
Well, I have to say this. With that being said, we found out before we started the show that you have something to share with everybody at the end, but we're not telling until the end of the show because you have some kind of
surprise
gift or something for somebody. So, wow. Anyway, I can't say anything else about it.
It's a secret.
It's a secret. But at the end of the show, you're going to do something. So
something, but not really, I promise.
So let me ask you this: when somebody commissions a piece, like a special custom order, what are the most critical components or pieces to you, and how do you go about formulating and putting the whole design together?
It's the first and foremost is communication. What is the person looking for? And sometimes it's a piece for themselves, but sometimes it's a gift. So first is a communication, and whether it's an email communication or a telephone conversation. Um, I really like to get a feel for what's the statement that the person is looking to make with that particular piece of jewelry. Because there's a very big difference between I just want something dainty to show off my children's birthstones versus I'm going on stage and I need a big flamin' bling piece. So first is to get that communication down. But beyond that, once I have an idea of what the person is looking for, I do a bit more research because I really want the designs that I put together to be something that not only will they wear, but that they'll love to wear. That gives them a glow because they just feel really special knowing it was custom designed for them. So I look, I get to know them a little bit, and whether it's via their Facebook or their website, if they're a business person, I want to know what really makes them tick and what's their purpose, what do they value, what's their personality. So I bring all of those components into the piece, and I guess that's what makes each piece truly one of a kind, because every one of us is so different that, something I designed for Kathy may not be what I designed for Brian. At least, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe, Brian, you happen to like the same things Kathy likes. I'm not sure. But I truly try to make them unique and tailored to the person that's ordering it. And if it is a gift, and several of my custom orders that I've done for people have been gifts. I did a piece that was commissioned for a mother-in-law who lived in another country. And so there was not only the language barrier, but a completely different culture and lifestyle. And so it took a little bit of homework to really get to know the person, the woman that was going to be receiving the necklace as a gift.
Oh, sure.
But we did it successfully, and the woman was moved to tears by the piece because it fit her so perfectly. She's like, I couldn't have even dreamed of a piece that said my name like this piece says my name. So it's more than just putting a few beads on a needle and sewing them together. It's really creating a portrait of the person in a piece of jewelry.
Yeah, I don't know. I think what Kathy's wearing right now would go quite well. Let me reach over and grab those earrings.
Actually, it would, Brian. This would match perfectly. I don't know if people can see this.
Yeah.
Am I getting a good?
Yeah, we're
Am I getting a good shot? This might. Yeah. I gotta get it up above my. But yeah. Oh. Well, Brian saw this. I had it on this weekend, but.
You're lucky he didn't take it right off your neck, Kathy.
I know, particularly because he was wearing red as well,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But listen, I would like to share a little bit of the love that's coming in here for you, Dawn. I think this is a good time, and oftentimes if people do not utilize their name when they sign in, I don't know who it is. So, but it looks like Jen, so I don't know if it's Gen. I don't know if that's the beginning of someone's name, but they said that Dawn makes the most beautiful jewelry, and she does such fine workmanship. And Finding Charm says, I love Dawn's work. And somebody else says, you make it sound so challenging but rewarding. We may have to chat a bit more about this. Hugs, Kristen. And Dawn is crushing it big time. You go. And Julie says, you're very generous and you give gifts of jewelry that make many, many people shed tears. And and then now Julie is saying, do you have a favorite piece of jewelry? So she's asking if you have a favorite piece.
Oh my, I have lots of favorite pieces. Actually, Kathy, the piece that you are wearing is one of my all-time favorite pieces. And I have to say, when I sent it to you, when you had ordered it and I packaged it up, it did bring a tear to my eye sending it. Not a tear of sadness, well, a little, because I was going to miss it tremendously. And I had the perfect top for it to go with. but also because it's just
Oh, there we go.
that piece was so perfect for you, and yet it was one of the biggest pieces I had done that made the biggest statement when I had done it. Um, and that held a very special, I know it will always hold a very special place in my heart, that piece. Another piece that happens to be one of mine, I'm sharing because I actually purchased a dress. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. There, can you see that?
We've got it. Nice.
There we go.
Ooh,
I had purchased a dress this summer that I bought the dress knowing I'd have to make a necklace to go with it. And it was purples and greens and kind of a paisley hobo style dress. And the piece that I created, the necklace that I'm wearing now, was what I created for that. And it's a very big bead embroidered piece. But I made it especially for me, and I don't often do that. I'm often making pieces for other people. But this particular piece I made for myself. And when you create something for yourself and then you stand back and look at it as an artist, sometimes you're kind of blown away at where the creativity and where the creative process took you. And this was one of those pieces for me. I didn't see what it was going to be prior to. I just let the beads talk to me, and I just created as I went, building on each step and ultimately coming up with, with the final piece. And it's me, in the end, and look at it and go, it's perfect for me. But those would be probably two of my favorite pieces that I have ever made. But there's really a lot. Sorry, I can't narrow it down more than that.
That's pretty
Well, I'll
good.
tell you what, I'm going to interject just real quick. Elaine and Lily are saying they're sending the love to you, so.
Oh, they're out by you, Cass. They're out in L.A.
No, that's by Brian. I'm in
Oh,
Northern
they're by
California.
you, Brian.
How you guys doing?
Thank you all. Good to talk to you.
Well, I'll tell you what, we want to make sure that Elaine and Lily hang around, because if you weren't on before, Dawn has some kind of goodie gift, something or other that we can't talk about till the end of the show that she's going to give away. So, back over to you, Brian.
Back to you. All right. Well, Don, with all the technology we have, in particular social media, which is the rage right now as far as marketing and connecting, how can we work effectively with clients and keep our people skills honed? Because we're just typing now. We're not talking much over the phone as much as we used to. And how would we utilize those skills? How can we hone those skills to just keep our customers as well paying customers? How are you finding to do that?
Oh, that's good.
That gets more and more challenging the more social media changes. But, I still think it's that personal touch. It's going the extra mile. If you know when their birthday is, it costs 44 cents and a birthday card to really let them know how important you think they are. I know there's a lot of people that use email systems. I do a newsletter once a month that I send out to my customers that they can opt into. And for my newsletter subscribers, I often have discounts on my jewelry that don't get published there, because I really value their readership, their loyalty, and their sticking with me as an artist, and when they have other opportunities to work with other people. So it is a constant challenge, but truly, knowing part of when you make the piece to begin with, it's so personal to them that it just makes sense to follow up on the backside and make sure that the service you gave them and the piece that you created for them is exactly what they wanted. And then offering little incentives along the way, because everybody likes incentives and they like to feel valued. So, but it's growing and changing, just like anything else online is right now, and it's becoming more and more of a challenge for all of us, I think.
So, how do you put your jewelry together with the actual goal of building customer relationships, just beyond the product that you're sending to them? So we were talking about social media and how it changes, but what do you actually do that goes the extra mile? You were talking about the stamp and the card, but I can tell you, because I've received some of your jewelry, please share some of the things that that you do.
Yeah, I think, you know, by me operating my business, I operate from the heart, and I really aim to make people feel special. That's me. That's not just in business. That's just the way that I am. I want people to know that I appreciate you, I love you, and I know, you know, to me, you are a very special person. So when I do create a piece, or if I have a piece that's already done and it's not custom created for someone, but it's in my store for sale, when I ship out a piece, I want that person to open that up and feel like it's their birthday. I don't care when their birthday is. Every day can be your birthday if you're getting presents. And I want the package that comes from Designs by Dawn Marie to be a present because everybody likes to party and we all like presents. So when I package it up, I make sure to send, you know, package it neatly in a nice little jewelry box or a jewelry organza bag. But I wrap it and I put a bow on it. And I include a personal handwritten thank you card because I really do appreciate each and every person that loves my jewelry enough to want to take it home and wear it. So it's not just a bubble wrap with their name on it, bubble envelope stuck in the mail. It's an experience. I think, Kathy, that you can testify to. You're opening it up and it's in layers. It's like you just can't wait to get inside the package. And then when you're in there, you're like, oh my gosh, it's a present, and everybody loves presents. And as you open it up, the excitement builds until you can actually see that piece of art jewelry that was custom made for you. And so I really aim to make each one special. You know, it takes a little bit more time than just stuffing it in an envelope, but it's well worth it both for me and for the recipient because people will know when they're getting a package from me that it was not just made with love, but it was packed with love and shipped out the door to them for many years of wearing it.
Wow, fantastic.
You know, it is like, I've told Brian that, I feel like anytime I get a package from her, it's like having a birthday every time. But can you imagine, Brian, think about this, and obviously, if people are putting together product packages, they can't put books and CDs and wrap them all and put them in bows, but for those who are authors that may have a book, and again, if they're selling hundreds of thousands and it's going through Amazon, but if they took the time periodically to have a few books that they would hand sign and package particularly well, what a great, marketing from that standpoint, yours is a little bit different because it's such a heart-centered and a different type of product because it's very artesian, but still, if folks from time to time would take a book and wrap it and put a bow, can you imagine? Oh my gosh, I got a Brendan Bouchard's Millionaire whatever book and it was wrapped with a bow. That would probably go a long way.
Yeah, what Dawn has touched on is actually applicable to other businesses, as you very aptly pointed out, Kathy, and you're giving us incredibly great tips, Dawn, adding that personal touch, wearing your heart on your sleeve, as you were talking earlier, to send out, something that's very, very personalized, that your hands have touched this thing, not just to put it together, but then to package it and send it. And that shows the person on the receiving end that you cared and you put time into it and love into it. As we can see how passionate you are as we watch you on the show, tears almost came to your eyes as you're hearing these wonderful people basically tell the truth about you and how wonderful you are. So you are true to yourself and true to, you don't just walk the walk or talk the talk, you walk the walk. I always do that backwards. I don't know why that is. But you are a gem in your own right, Dawn, and we both love you very dearly, and Chris as well, but you're better looking. But
I don't know, he's kind of cute too. Come on.
I can't say anything on live air, but anyway.
You're gonna see this later and go, what am I, chopped liver? Come on.
No.
But don't forget, we're getting near the end. We're not quite there, but don't forget, Dawn has a special surprise. So hang on for that, because she's going to give you information that you can utilize for a special surprise. We're not going to tell you anymore. We're just going to leave you hanging there. Dawn, now that your business, as we were talking about a little earlier, has really hit its stride, so to speak, and it's beginning to grow to a point where You're really you're working very well, very hard, and doing a good job. What is your vision with your Designs by Dawn Marie business? In other words, what are your plans moving forward? Because as you grow, you have to continually change. What plans do you have moving forward?
Well, I'm always learning new things. From a creativity standpoint, I don't stop. I'm always learning new styles of jewelry and things. But the other aspect of business is keeping myself current online. If I just stopped and just let Facebook and Twitter and LinkedIn and my website and my blog just sit, we don't grow. So growing my business and going forward is kind of twofold. It's online and offline. Offline being the creativity side of things, and online just staying abreast of the current marketing and social media marketing that is growing and changing. But the direction I'd really like to, and the goal of where I'm aiming to take Designs by Dawn Marie. I do a lot of different styles of jewelry, and Kathy has seen a number of different styles, and Brian, you may have seen her wearing a number of different styles. But really, to be able to follow what resonates so deeply within my heart is creating pieces like what Kathy's wearing this evening and the piece that I'm wearing this evening, because it truly is a work of art, and it comes from somewhere between here, and I don't know the exact address, but those pieces, as I create them, they really are individual miniature works of art. And so as Designs by Dawn Marie continues to grow, and custom orders will always be my favorite type of order to do, because I can actually put a name, a face, a personality to a piece even before I create a piece. But to really build it out and be able to take the art jewelry side of the business and grow that to the point where people can see a piece and go, that's a Designs by Dawn Marie piece. And my jewelry has gone around the world. I've shipped to Guam, I've shipped to Australia, I've shipped to Canada. So it is getting recognition, and it's growing by the day. But I really want to create my signature that people can say, that's an original, and I know where that came from. And it's getting there. People are really starting to recognize pieces I've done. And part of that is challenging myself by, entering contests and things, jewelry design contests, and really being a competitor. I have that little bit of a competitive streak in me too. So, there's that side of it too that keeps it very fresh, very current, and very exciting.
One thing that Brian's been doing, and it's just fabulous. He, when we were talking about our jewelry, he was doing close-ups on us, and he's also been running a segment of some of the fabulous pieces that you've designed while this is going on. And so I know, Dawn, you can't see this right now, but it's absolutely gorgeous. He's doing some close-up shots and really put that. The one that they see right now with the bracelet with the heart, that's actually the design and the bracelet that she made for Susie with Sizzle.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Well, I'll tell you what, we're not quite at the end of the hour, but we are getting close. So there's a couple of things with business that we need to take care of. But before we get to the surprise part of it, what additional words of encouragement, Dawn, can you share with our viewers that might move them and help them to get in the mode to take whatever creativity that they have inside and know that they can step out and actually create a business around that and possibly enjoy some of the successes that you're enjoying as well?
We'll never give up. If something resonates with your heart and it just makes you feel like you're on top of the world when you're doing it, or what it is that you create, whether it's a book, whether it's a CD or an audio, or whether it's actually touching somebody's lives with a service. If it makes your heart feel all warm and fuzzy, like you're just worth $1 million, that's a direction that you need to consider, because that feeling in your heart will last much longer than any money in the bank account, number one. But most often, when you are so in love with what you do, when it resonates like that, the money will follow too. So it's not just about chasing the dollar, um, but it's about following your heart. And when you really, you're just so passionate about something that it wakes you up at 3 a.m. And I can testify to the fact that I've had designs that come to my mind at 3 a.m. that I need to come downstairs and work on because I cannot sleep until I get this design created. My Aunt Monica has a piece like that. It's my special 3 a.m. collection. I hope I don't have to grow that collection as much as some of the other collections because that really is disruptive. But when you love it that much that it wakes you up in the middle of the night and you're giddy like a kid at Christmas time to create whatever just popped into your mind, that is an avenue you need to follow. And there is no perfect road. Not all roads are blacktop. You will hit some gravel, and you're going to have to put on your flip-flops because you can't walk barefoot. But you'll get to the end of that road, and then you'll see a turn at the road. That'll take you a whole nother avenue, and you might get to a beach where barefoot is welcome. So following the path, it is a journey. There's no shortcut in creating a successful business. It doesn't happen overnight. But when you love it so much, whether it takes 2 years or 10 years, you're really going to enjoy the process every step of the way. So I think, kind of to summarize is because I think at this point, everybody on the show can attest to, I create with my heart, and pretty much if there were a box, it would actually be a big heart over my head because I'm all about love. But in any business, and it doesn't matter what your business is, you really do have to enjoy what you do. So don't give up and follow what it is that really gets you all crazy inside.
I love it.
Yeah, don't give up. It's a common theme amongst entrepreneurs and folks that have been through it and made it to the other side. And it can be a daunting thing. And there are many hurdles and roadblocks from the starting line to the finish line for sure. I mean, there are many times you sit there questioning, why am I doing this? I'm exhausted, I'm broke, and this, all the things that go with sometimes with trying to build a business. So I couldn't agree more, Don, when you say just don't give up, just keep going.
Well, the other thing too, Brian, sometimes as we know, we're in a totally different segment of business, but we're very passionate about what it is that we do too. And we had mentioned kind of early on that we all met while we were involved in a type of business together. And this was, can you believe this was 4 years ago? But
wow.
How we have all evolved and moved since then, and we each have followed a passion totally different, but still something that we are all passionate about and are each finding our way and finding great success along the way with that. So I cannot agree more that it's not always easy. You have to keep forging ahead, and you have to take the good with the bad and the bumpy roads with the smooth roads. But the fact that you can keep the end goal in sight and know in your heart that it truly is attainable, it can be attainable, right, Brian?
Yeah, you put that very, very well. And that's it. Just keep staying the course. Change your mindset into a positive one. That's the other, continual theme we get with guest after guest on this show. That seems to be the #1 component that leads to success is a positive mindset. And there are many ways to work on that. For those, you can go view some of our past shows that we have recorded. We won't get into that just this moment. But daggone it, the suspense is killing me. Are we going to do the surprise or not?
Go ahead. Who's doing the drum roll?
I don't know if you heard that or not. But no, I really appreciate you guys so much for having me on the show and allowing me to share my passion, not just for my business, but for helping people get started in business and seeing baby businesses grow up into middle-aged businesses and just watching people grow as individuals. I have to thank you both first for asking me to be on the show, because it's just a joy to be able to connect with you in person, but to connect with your audience too, because I know that you are both very you're surrounded with wonderful, wonderful people. And so it's a true privilege to be able to share my passion with your audience as well. So, in honor of my birthday this week, I'm going to give your viewers a present. Is that good? Can I do that?
Sounds good.
Yes.
Okay. I want to create a custom piece for one of your viewers. And it's going to be made, it's not made yet because I don't know who's going to win it, but it's going to be made especially for that person. So what I want to do is invite anybody that wants a chance to win, and I will pick a random winner. I usually ask my youngest, Bella, to pick the winner, and then I have to get it out of her mouth before she swallows it, or I won't know who's the winner for at least a day. But I want to create a custom piece. So in order for anybody that wants to enter, email me at dawn@designsbydawnmarie.com. And I'll repeat that so you can write it down. I think Brian's doing something fancy on the screen, right?
Yes.
It's dawn@designsbydawnmarie.com. And send me an email. On that email, if you were to give the gift of custom jewelry, who would you give it to and why? Because I create from my heart, and it's so special to me to create a piece for you. I want to know a little bit about your heart. Who you think is deserving of a piece of custom jewelry? So, you have 24 hours there, Brian and Kathy. Does that sound about right?
That sounds more than fair.
Well, the thing about it is, our show.
They're on the ball. I know that they're going to take action right away, so I know it's not even going to be an issue. So 24 hours, so we'll give them through, midnight tomorrow. And then on Thursday, I will get in contact with the winner, and I will post the winner on my blog. And that way I can get started on a custom piece. Can't wait to see what it's going to be, because I have no idea who's going to win. But even if you're on the line and you don't wear jewelry, you can always give a custom piece as a gift. So I don't want to exclude anybody because they don't wear earrings. Chances are, and that's why I want to know, if you were to give a gift of custom jewelry, who would you give it to and why? So my gift to your viewers is something custom made. I can't wait to see who's going to win. I'm excited. It's my birthday and it's my present to you.
Us too, and the fact of the matter is, Thursday is actually your birthday, so you are giving it away on your birthday. So wow, what a double whammy gift. I mean, that's awesome. Well, I'm just going to tell you.
I have to tell you, having a birthday is so much more fun to give everybody else presents. I just think that's so much fun.
Well, I'm going to tell you, it's like every week our hour comes. We had talked about this before we started, and, and how long it was going to take. And we were telling you, it's like before we know it, the hour comes and goes. And Brian and I just absolutely adore you, and Chris as well, and your friendship. And we're so thankful that you agreed to come and share your business prowess, your expertise with social media, your creativity, and all of the things that you do. You bring such joy, I can tell you by looking at the chat window, to a multitude of people out there. So thank you for lighting our screen this week, and we're just absolutely delighted that you spent the time with us. And for the viewers that came on, for those that it's your first time, thank you for joining us as well. We're so glad that Dawn brought you to share a little bit of this hour with us and with her as well. Brian, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Yeah, and I can't believe it's been 4 years. When you said that, it's like, my goodness, really? But yeah, it has. But one thing I'm noticing, that Dawn, you, and I mean this, you are more beautiful now than you were 4 years ago. You look younger. You look gorgeous. And you're not just beautiful on the outside, but you are showing your beauty from the inside and giving that to your customers, your friends. And you're just a true, like I said earlier, a true gem, and we can't thank you enough for coming on our show and sharing yourself with us and our audience. We truly, truly appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you guys both. I feel very blessed to consider you, more than, we're dear friends. It's not just acquaintances, but dear friends. And you know, there's friends that you develop that the friendship lasts a lifetime, and for Chris and I, both of you are in our very close circle of friends. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Well, with that, as Kathy said, it's that happy time. Well, it's not a happy time. It's a sad time because we have to say goodbye. But we will be back next week for another terrific show, so be sure to look for it. If you haven't done so yet, click on the register link above. All that does is sign you up to get automated reminders of when our next show will be. It's very simple. It's free, and it's hassle. There's no hassle. It's just, and we're nice people. We're not going to mess with you. So
we got a great guest next week too.
We always, every guest is a great guest. We just.
Well, I know, but this is like a really interesting topic. It's just different. We haven't had anything like this before ever. Just like tonight.
So be sure to tune in next week. Until then, we will see you all again then. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.